Yeah.
All right, so we're here today to talk about Douglas Landing. I'm joined by Jasmine Paoloni, Zeyad Hassan, and Enam Hoque. And you can sort of see on the screen, Enam is with Beckwith Township. He's an architect and done many different things. And Zeyad is the project manager, and Jasmine is the planner associated with this. And I've been involved with this project right even before it started. Really, the idea for it, I think, actually came from Dr. Espie, but and that's got to be now 3.5 years ago. So what we're going to talk about today, Enam, is I wanted to have an opportunity with my colleagues here to sort of tell you what I have in mind and what I think we have in mind for the zoning. So if it's okay with you, Enam, I'm going to show a few slides, and I promise not to
Sure.
talk too long, but I would like to share a few slides with you if that's
Sure.
okay.
Sure.
All right. I'll share my screen um, and I'll just make it a little bit bigger. So Jasmine, can you see my screen okay?
Yep.
So, Enam, we call this Douglas Landing. It is Douglas Side Road, and it just seemed to be something that I named it with approval from Dr. Espy, but it's called Douglas Landing, and it has kind of a tagline, living and working with nature, because it's an absolutely beautiful site. Dr. Espy and I and a few other people have walked the entire site, or pretty much all of the site, and it is really actually quite beautiful. All right, let's go to the next slide. Enam, this is, I think, either I'm never sure if it's quite the final, but this is kind of the final or close to final plan that we have. I think there's a total of 23 lots. And then, of course, there's a few blocks. There's this block here, which is the wetland and the drain. And then we've got I think we have two stormwater blocks, as if I recall,
Yes.
certainly one here and maybe one somewhere else. And like I said, I think there are a total of 23 lots. This plan might only show 22, but Jasmine, am I right? Is it 23 in total?
Yeah, 23 in total and two stormwater management
Yeah.
blocks.
Okay. So this might not be the most recent plan. Um, One of the things that I wanted to talk about today, and I'm going to go back to this slide, is that we see this subdivision. I think we're all on the same page, Jasmine and I, and the doctor and Ziyad. We see this as kind of a pretty much a typical rural residential subdivision. And Enam, I couldn't believe it when Dr. Espy and I visited the site. It is exactly 12 minutes from the Canadian Tire Center where the Sens play. It's closer to the city than just about any other subdivision that I'm working on that isn't actually in the city of Ottawa. It is at the legal speed limit, I'm not talking about, speeding. At the legal speed limit, it is 12 minutes to the Canadian Tire Center. So we
Mhm.
think it'll be a terrific addition to Beckwith. But what we would like to do, or at least what I would like to do, and Jasmine, I want your input on this, and of course, and Ziad as well, is I would like this to be similar to another subdivision, rural subdivision that I did with Bob Walkna. I think it had more lots. I think it had close to 30 lots, and some of those were waterfront lots. But it what I have in mind, Enam, is that each of these lots um, would be available for multi-generational living. And what I mean by that, Enam, is this is a group out of Florida, Lanark Homes. They're huge in Florida, and they are building multi-generational homes. And I just put a floor plan up here for you to look at, where you have basically a 2 or 3 bedroom house here, which is the white labeled area here, the white space that you see here. But they have a separate suite here, which is a 1 bedroom suite, which is attached, and it has its own garage, if you could believe it. So the way that this multi-generational house works has proven very popular in the States and in parts of Canada is you come, the main house, you've got a 2-car garage here. You come in here, you've got a 1-car garage. Then you come in here, you have your bathroom, you have your bedroom here, you have a living area, a working area here, and then you have a kitchen here, and it is connected to the main home. So you could have adult children coming back to live with you. You could have your elderly parents or grandparents living with you. So what we're hoping is that, at least what I'm hoping, is that each of these lots will permit this kind of living. Um, I'm not going to play it for you, but this one I think I could play because it's only a very short video. So if you don't mind, I will actually play this video for you. It's about a minute and a half. Is that okay, Enam, if I show you what they're
Sure,
doing?
sure, please.
All right. As an architect, I think you'll be interested in it. So let me just see if I could play this thing.
As our world changes, the generations of families live together under one roof. Lennar, one of the nation's leading home builders, has created the next generation of home. Next gen, the home within a home. A unique private suite with its own entrance and kitchenette, ideal for extended family, home office, or a suite of other possibilities. It's like having two homes under one roof. Make your next home a next gen home. For details, visit lennar.com.
So I don't know if you can see it, the two cars going like that.
Can I make some comments?
Sure.
Okay. So the idea, I mean, yeah, I'm sure you know by now, the plan of subdivision in Beckwith is governed by the official plan
Of course.
and the zoning bylaw. So the all plan of subdivisions that are within the rural zone are required to be rezoned to rural residential only, which means that a single dwelling is permitted only. Okay. However, lately, township is approving. It's also covered by the in rural residential. You can have an attached secondary, which in the official plan, which is currently valid now, says secondary units or secondary dwelling. But the new term is additional residential unit or attached, in this case, attached additional residential unit is permitted on rural lands. So from that perspective, your multi-generational could be permitted, but it can be built at the same time. There is no problem, but there is one caveat. The official plan calls for primary unit. The 40% of the primary unit can only be allocated for the 40% gross floor area of the primary unit can only be allocated for the attached additional residential unit. So you have to make sure in your
Yeah.
plan then how much is the gross floor area, excluding the garage, how much is the floor area, livable floor area, and then multiply it by 0.4 and calculate the floor area of this. It has to comply with that regulation because that's the Beckwith official plan.
Right. And if you look at what Lennar is doing all over the United States, and many of my clients across Canada are doing now, if you look at this suite, which is in blue here, Enam, you can see just by eyeballing it's not even close to 40% of the living area.
Yeah, we would still need to see those numbers.
Of course,
Okay.
I understand.
That primary residential area,
Yeah,
gross floor area is 2,000 square feet, and I'm just picking a number,
yeah.
and attached additional residential unit is 800 square feet or less.
Well, that's very, very encouraging. I appreciate that. I'd also like to show you another subdivision, which is Madawaska Shores. I think this is Renfrew County, which has been very successful. And Zeyad and Jasmine, I thought you'd be interested to see what they're charging now for a lot. Mind you, these are waterfront lots, but look at that number, Zeyad.
Oh,
Can you
That's
believe
for
that?
the lot only?
That's for the lot
wow.
only. You would think it includes the house, but it doesn't. It's for the lot only. Jasmine, you had something to add there?
Just a question on the method of calculation for the 40%, just because I know there's two different ways to look at it. So I just wanted, before we move off of that, if I could confirm. Bruce, can you go back to that slide that showed the different areas? Perfect. So when you're taking the 40%, are we taking the total area of the white unit and the blue unit, 40% of
No, no,
that
no, no.
being
No,
allocated to the
40%
blue?
of the primary unit.
so just so 40% of the white area is
Yeah.
allowed to then be built as the blue unit. Okay.
Yeah. Excluding the garage.
And it doesn't
Excluding
include the garage.
Does not include the garage.
And I have one question here as well, and thank you, Enam, for bringing this up, and thanks, Bruce and Jasmine. So in Ottawa, based on Bill 23 Enam, we are like currently in a single-family home, we can add up to 2 additional units, 2
Yes.
ADUs, and actually all the developers, including myself, are pushing for the 3rd ADU as well that would come in effect in 2026, right? So is it the same for Beckwith, like
No.
2 ADUs or only 1?
No, because you are missing a point there that is under in the planning act. Planning statement and the planning act. It's the term is urban residential land. Urban residential land, if you go back to the definition of what is an urban residential land, so these 3 units will be permitted in urban residential land. Now, go back to the definition of urban residential land, it's where you have a central water and sewage.
That's right.
So Beckwith does not have central water and sewage. It has to, you have to have the water and sewage system on site. So the septic bed, so that's the reason that it's, I mean, the province does not allow it. So province made it only for cities where they have the central water and sewage. And accordingly, our official plan and zoning bylaw does not change.
So Jasmine, basically what you would end up with is, if you can see my cursor moving, it would be 40% of this.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And if you look at excluding the garage, if you look at the in-home suite here,
Looks pretty close.
Is
that the garage there?
Almost certainly be within the 40%.
Mhm.
Yeah, there is a garage
Yeah, down
at the
here, yeah.
front.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to also identify the driveway. How does the driveway connect to? I mean, is connected. So yeah, okay. So I got it. The driveway
So
at
just,
a right angle.
just bear with me for 1 second here.
At a right angle.
Or something.
Ideal for extended
Just give me a
family,
second.
home office, or a suite of other possibilities. It's like having 2 homes.
Look. Oh, let me get rid of that.
It's so quick.
See how it works?
Yeah. Got it.
It just
I
does
saw.
that.
Yeah. Sorry.
And Zeyad, I cannot tell you how many of these we're selling. I have I have 5 kids, and my youngest son has been living with us. He's in his 30s now. He's been living with us for 5.5 years. And Jasmine, we finally got rid of him. 5.5 years, almost 6 years.
Now, one more thing.
Got rid of him.
One more thing is for attached additional residential unit, our official plan calls for a site plan control approval. So that for each application, then we will have to have a site plan control approval at the time of before building permit application. Okay.
That's
So
good.
that will cost an additional amount of like something like $850 or so.
Yeah, I get it. So I wanted to show you this as
But
well.
just to clarify that,
Sorry?
okay, you can go ahead, Bruce. Okay.
I wanted to show you this as well.
No, I mean, like, I wanted to mention something.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No.
Yeah, you can go ahead, Bruce, and then I will.
No, you go ahead.
No, I just want to understand the requirement. Okay, I just want to understand the requirement for the site plan control application for each lot. Is it just because these, like the second unit?
Yeah,
Just
or the
because
second
of
unit.
that, or
If some lots
it
will
can't-
have a
it
second
can't-
unit,
yeah.
then they will require a site plan control approval.
Okay.
Because it's my understanding that it's a fairly simple process for what we're talking about here. We're not talking about a site plan approval for a 30-story building in Ottawa.
No. It's a simple process. It's like it takes about a month if you have all the documents. The floor plan is there, so it takes about a month of planning.
Okay, and it can go in parallel with the building permit application, like concurrently, both applications?
So building permit, yeah, concurrently you can apply, but building permit file will be on hold until the site plan is approved and agreement. There will be an agreement until that agreement is signed. So once the agreement is signed, I will clear off building permit file comes to me for planning approval. Once the agreement is signed, then I will clear off the building permit file for issuing the permit to the chief building official.
Thank you. Thank you. Clear.
Right. That's very helpful. No, I'm not going to play this this one here. This is just another short video that I have that I wanted to show you, but I'm not going to actually show you this. This is one of the buyers at Madawaska Shores. And I just, for you, Enam, but also for Zeyad and Jasmine, I wanted to make sure you understand that well, maybe I will play because it's only, by the way, can I ask you a question? Zeyad, when I played the other one for Lennar, could you hear it?
Yeah. Sound was okay.
Okay. So this one is only a minute. I did an interview with Chris. He bought a lot at Madawaska Shores, and he built you'll hear it for himself. But just to tell you how important it is to the client or the customer, the home buyer, I will play it.
Hi, everybody. I'm here with Chris at Madawaska Shores, and I'm just going to turn. We're going to see his better half up here, along with Bob Walkna, the developer. And I'm coming back to you, Chris. So, Chris, how big a lot did you buy here?
Slightly over 1 1/4 acres, 1.26.
All right. And I can't understand what you saw on the lot.
Beautiful water, lovely terrain, space for a walkout, and lovely creek on one side.
So you've got a creek, and you've obviously got a slope, but it's walkable, right, to the river here.
Yeah, there's a number of plateaus, and we're building pathways in.
Okay, and you told me you're going to build a bungalow. It's pretty big. How big is the bungalow?
1,700 square feet.
And it has a walkout condition, so you'll actually end up with, I guess, 3,400 square feet of developed space. Is that right?
Well, yes, but officially 1,700.
Okay, we won't tell the township anything else. And last question, you mentioned something about a garage with a bunkie on top. Tell me about that.
Besides the house, we intend to have a separate double garage with a bunkie on top. We have a number of adult children. We'll soon be bringing their kids when they get around to that. So
it's really, in a way, going to be a multi-generational home.
Absolutely.
And hopefully it'll be in the family for a long time.
I sure hope so.
All right. Thank you so much for doing this.
Okay.
So you can see what, Enam, what we're trying to do here. We're trying to create a community where people can have their children and their grandchildren, live with them, or their grandparents, as I was saying earlier. And I think what we're hearing, Zeyad and Jasmine, is that with the caveat that two caveats really that Enam mentioned: 40% limit on the additional suite, and a site plan control application, which is not too complicated. With those two caveats, I think it's possible to do. All right.
Yeah, of course. I agree, Bruce. I agree. And just for the matter of the site plan, once we proceed further and we, in the review of the application, we will need to understand the financial implications of the registration of each site plan control, the required securities for each site plan agreement, and all of that, because it's part of the pro forma that Dr. Espie will need to capture.
Let me give you the numbers. The site plan control application fee is $250. There will be an agreement for this one with the floor plan and site plan. In the agreement that will be registered on title. And the registration cost is around $600, $580 to $590.
Okay.
And we take a deposit of $1,000 refundable at that time, which will be refunded after the construction is completed and the final inspection certificate issued by the chief building official is forwarded to me. Then I will process the refund that goes automatically to the mail, to the property.
So this is a great breakdown. Like my understanding, this $1,000 or $1,000, it's replacing the requirement for the LC or the security for the site.
We basically secured that because I know other townships have a much higher number for this one. Here, our township council has made it a little bit easier, and this is rather a deposit to secure that the registration fee is paid back on time. If it is not paid, then at the time when someone claims the refundable deposit, then we check whether they paid that invoice, because we pay the lawyer and we send the invoice. The township sends the invoice to the property owner. So, because if in the past, it used to be that we left it to the property owner to do it, and they never did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we wanted to have a control over it. So just to ensure that that money is paid back. If it is paid back, then you get the $1,000 back right away. I mean, it takes some, accounting time, approval time internally, but it goes by mail.
So,
So basic cost is about $600 plus 250, roughly $850 is the basic cost.
Zeyad, we're talking $850 and possibly a month. Compare that to what the city of Ottawa wants.
I know.
There's no comparison. It's fantastic. So I think, Enam, I can answer this question on this slide here, that single-family homes with potential in-home suites will be allowed, but an additional backyard coach house is not. So that's a no.
No, that's a
That's
no.
a no. All right.
That's a no.
So Jasmine, we can offer 2 units, the in-home suite, but we cannot offer a backyard coach house. It's just a no.
Yeah.
All right.
Coach houses, mobile homes, bunkies. The term bunkie is not even in our official plan and zoning bylaw. So we don't have.
So on that then, because we had officially put into our planning rationale in our proposed rezoning to permit in some of these lots a maximum of 4 dwellings per property.
Hold on a second, Jasmine. Hold
Am I
on.
jumping the gun?
Hold on, just wait a second. We're going to get to that.
Okay.
We're just dealing right now with the majority of the lots, which are going to be single-family homes, which will have potential in-home suites. If people want an in-home suite, they can do it.
Yes.
They cannot have the backyard coach houses. So we know Enam's been very clear on that and very helpful, and Zeyad clarified what the site plan control looks like, and it's a good process, and I support that, Enam. It's terrific. So that is where we're at for the bulk of the lots, Jasmine. Okay. Now the next thing, Enam. Now you have to take a Valium here. Okay. Enam, are you ready?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, you have to take a Valium here, and just let me explain what we're thinking about, and maybe it doesn't work, Jasmine. Maybe Enam is going to shoot us down, but at least we're going to ask. All right. So this is a client of mine that builds starter homes in New Hampshire. These are homes that are about 400 square feet, so they're not big. They're quite nice. And one of the things I did was I had a discussion with the Ministry of Environment, the MOE, a wonderful young engineer, and she told me that I'm just talking about the province now. The province was supportive of having either 3 or 4 starter homes on a rural block, on a rural lot, on one well and one septic, provided they weren't, any bigger than or any more demand on the septic and the well than a single family house. And if you think about a 2,000 square foot house, 4 of these starter homes, which are, like I said, about 400 square feet, 4 of them wouldn't even amount to a 2,000 square foot home. And so she was saying to me that the province was supportive of having starter homes, of having more affordable homes, and up to 4 on a lot, fed by one well and received by one septic system. So I don't know if this would be something that the township would consider maybe changing its official plan if necessary. But that's one of the things at least the Ministry of Environment was supporting.
No, it is it's equivalent to what it is popular now, the tiny homes. So these are all tiny homes, and tiny homes, as I told you, I was saying before, tiny homes, mobile homes are not permitted in Beckwith. So it's not going to be permitted.
And there's nothing we can do about that.
No, council will not accept it at all.
I wonder why,
Well, this has got to do with the problem of the sewage system that is that goes around it, because you have probably four different owners there, okay, or four different tenants.
Sorry, these are rentals. These are rentals.
So four different tenants,
Yes.
and if who manages the sewage system?
Well, the owner does. So the owner. So this particular.
So so if that happens, then the burden falls on the township, and township is not willing to take that burden.
No, I don't think that's quite accurate.
There is something
I don't
happens.
think it's quite accurate. So
That's
so-
one of those. But other than that, in general, tiny homes and mobile homes are not permitted. So that's a clear cut.
But just to be clear,
Yeah.
how this works in New Hampshire, okay?
Yeah. Lots of places. Even in Ontario, there are other towns that are permitting tiny homes. Okay.
Yeah.
I know. I've been associated with one tiny home association for some time. So,
Okay.
and I follow all those from time to time as well. So I'm aware of it, but it's not permitted in Beckwith.
Zeyad, have you got anything you would like to add to that?
No, just like I understand that Beckwith in the official plan they don't have that, and for us to try to get this going, we will need to take it to council, and we need to take it to more discussion.
Yeah.
Based on my recent conversation with Dr. Espie, she mentioned that what, let's try. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. She is good. She's happy with the like the multifamily generation, like what we're proposing. My only question. In the lot, now we're going to have the primary resident and we're going to have the additional unit. Is there a room in the back, in the backyard for a shed, like storage shed, accessory building, stuff like that, or
this will be rezoned as the entire subdivision will be rezoned to rural residential. Okay, so rural residential. If you go to our zoning bylaw book. Okay. Its frontage, its permitted use is single dwelling. Okay. Frontage minimum 45 meters. And that's also, I mean, we strictly go by that number. It has to be 45.0 minimum.
Okay.
And front also 15 meters. There is no exception. Rear 15 meters, no exception for a planned development. And exterior side 15 meters, interior side 15 meters. Say, for example, in this case, in your plan, which is now numbered as lot 5, it has an exterior side, which is the Douglas side road. So it has to be 15 meters. The house has to be 15. All structures has to be 15 meters away from Douglas side road, and 15 meters from the lot line along Douglas side road, and 15 meters from the lot line along the internal road. And 15 meters, in this case, there is a wetland. Let me see if there is a wetland in here. Just hang on a minute. Come on.
Jasmine, do you mind sharing your screen with the concept plan so we are all on the
I have
same
it on
page?
my screen.
I put a request to screen share, but
Yeah.
I just agreed.
oh, there we go.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So 15
We're looking
meters
at
from here, 15
Mhm.
meters from here, and 30 meters. Let me see if it is, you will have to make sure where the wetland is, and 30 meters setback from the wetland. All of so this is if this is the wetland, the setback is no more 15 meters rear. It becomes the rear in the rear is the wetlands. So you have to consider a 30-meter setback from rear for the house, or even the septic bed. So anything from the wetland, a 30-meter setback.
So we're looking at the lot 5 in the rear of it. There is a wetland. This is the only lot because the recommendations we got from Pinchin report that they support the 15 meters setback from the wetland.
No,
Okay.
30 meters. So you see,
Okay.
if you go to the MVCA, okay. So I think I measured it. Just let me see. No. Okay. So MVCA website, meters. It's 30 meters exactly to the buffer zone. So that's the buffer zone, 30 meters. If you go to the MVCA regulation, MVCA website, and go to their public mapping,
Yeah.
you will see the map.
Okay, so just to make sure I understand correctly, those 30 meters from the wetland to the infrastructure.
Yeah, that's a 30-meter setback. You must conform to for all structures, even including the septic bed.
Okay,
And those will of course those properties when they will submit for if it is outside of that limit, they may be circulated to, they may require MVCA permit as well. Those lots front abutting the wetland, they may require MVCA permit. MVCA review and permit, MVCA permit as well.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So Jasmine, as I recall correctly, now we are having 15 meters buffer from the wetland to the lot line, right, or to the infrastructure.
So what we're currently showing,
like any of them, yeah.
What we're currently showing is a reduction of the 30 meters to a 15 meter to any closest point for the wells, the septic being the primary or the alternate, and the proposed dwellings. The 15 meter setback is coming from a recommendation from our EIS that's been completed by Pinchin, which I believe in the OP is permitted because it's following the approval of a subdivision, so it's being reviewed in greater detail. If anything, I think we may need an additional variance or something in our rezoning to allow for that reduction. But my understanding is that the MVCA is not the approval body for setbacks to the floodplain or wetlands, and that it falls to either the township or the county.
So the township setback is 30 meters as well.
So as per the zoning?
Yeah.
Right. So that would be something that would be baked into our zoning amendment.
For a planned subdivision, these I don't believe council will approve it because you have a lot of room there, and you can plan accordingly with all those conditions. So you need to plan accordingly. You need to plan accordingly, having all those restrictions, that 30-meter setback, all the setbacks, you need to plan accordingly.
Enam, the pension consultants, they did talk to the conservation authority, and they did consider, or at least they did express that there was some leeway that might be provided as long as that the environmental impact was mitigated. And so this plan was about 3 years in the making, and it certainly did have input from the Conservation Authority. So I think we're going to have to kick that one down the field a little bit. I don't think we want to change this plan, Jasmine or Zeyad, until we've had, I mean, it's been circulated now, right, Z?
So it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
circulated, the
So
plan was
we're going to get
circulated.
some feedback from the Conservation Authority and from other people. But the discussions between Pinchin, it was Enam, you remember Rocky Yao?
Yes.
Yeah, Rocky had extensive discussions with the Conservation Authority, and he shaped after you had fooled around with the road and everything else. He shaped this this subdivision, and he had those discussions. And so I think we just have to wait, Jasmine and Zeyad,
Yeah.
for the official feedback from everybody.
So I have this email from Diane Reed of MBCA, Mississippi Valley Conservation Authority, dated October 19, 2021. She's saying, in follow-up of our meeting this morning, please see section 9.5, 9.6 of MBCA's regulation policies for regulated wetlands and compensation. So if that regulated wetlands, but in here, the MBCA, I am on MBCA website for regulation limit, and it identifies 30 meters as the regulation limit.
But a regulation
And this
limit
is the
not
this is the
a setback.
latest. This is the latest, and which is the setback also. This is the setback.
So
And
Enam,
township setback is also 30 meters for a planned subdivision.
Okay. Okay, Enam, as Jasmine mentioned, the new official plan, when it came, it talked a lot about the setbacks and the environmental features and the definition and the classification of the drain. If we have a drain, if it's a municipal drain or if it's a local drain, if it's evaluated wetland or unevaluated wetland. At the end of the day, we are on the same page with you that we have to follow any existing regulations. We're going to do our best, definitely, to customize and design those setbacks to match all the lots. However, as you know, in any project, if we end up with 3 or 4 lots that we can't meet the 30, maybe we can have 26, 25, 27. In those, like, I'm not saying that we're going to have all of them not complying with the setbacks, but there is always preferred to be a room for discussion, to put our mind together with you and the RVCA to make sure everyone is satisfied with our proposal and get to the end of the process with approval and satisfied beautiful subdivision. That's what we're trying to say. Like, we're not trying to say that we're gonna have all the lots 15 no, we're gonna follow your preference and recommendation, but what we are asking for, be patient with us. Let's do our best to design what we can and then see what we're going to end up with as a variance. And we can have a discussion, put it on the table, put our mind, and follow the official plan. Because as Jasmine mentioned, there is in the official plan, there is a 15-meter as well possibility that we can get it as a reference or a backup for the approval for those only few lots that we will not be able maybe to meet the 30 meters. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate that. So, and again,
in that case, what will happen is when you will have a revised plan, then it would have to come to our council that this is what you are proposing as a draft plan, as a draft plan for the subdivision, and these are the restrictions. Would the council approve these restrictions?
Absolutely, and we are waiting. Like so this step.
Yeah.
We're gonna receive your official comments, right? As a planner, like with the township planning department, it's gonna be collected by the county. I'm gonna receive them in April, right? Once we get those comments, we're gonna compile all of them, revise our plans, whatever reports, edits we need to submit, and we resubmit with the new design. And absolutely, before we go to the second submission, we will show you our revised plan based on your comments. We'll meet with you, make sure we are on the same page, go to the public meeting as well. Like, as you know, there is a process that we need to follow. But what I'm trying to say, because we have an official submission at this point deemed complete, we're just waiting for the feedback, that first submission comments.
Okay, so in that case, I will have to write. Do you want to do a pre-consultation with the council with your draft plan, or based on your planning rationale, I should prepare a township response and get it to the council and then forward whatever the council says to the county?
Well, okay, what is your normal process when you have a first submission?
Normal process is that a pre-consultation is happened at the township with the draft plan, and the council, if the council supports, then you go ahead and proceed with the draft plan. Because at the end of the day, although the approval authority is the county, but at the end of the day, it is a township land. Okay.
Yeah.
And the township will be ultimately managing, overlooking and managing the entire
process. Yeah. Okay. So my understanding that the pre-consultation already happened in 2021, and based on that
pre-consultation, so that pre-consultation did not cover these items what you are talking now, because I have those ones there. Yes, 2021, the pre-consultation happened, and at that time we did suggest there were some some comments from me which Rocky did incorporate. So but after that, everything died out, and then Bruce came back after a while and sent me the revised plan, and which I did spend some time in reviewing and providing some feedback. So, but in there, those were talking at that time. We were only talking about the lots, not the location of the residential units and the details. I mean, these details were not discussed at the time.
Okay, so like, I don't want to hold receiving the first submission comments from the other departments, right? So
no, they will be going on. I mean, these have nothing to do with that, actually.
Because, okay, if this is the case, we can do in parallel. Like, you can request this pre-consultation with the team at the township. Okay, we can prepare a presentation, come to you guys with our plan, and talk about those setbacks and those details. As long, like, we can start this request now, actually, and at the same time, I just want to make sure we're not holding the rest of the department's comments that
the technical studies have already been forwarded to our peer reviewers. So we township employs the peer reviewers, and we send the documents to the peer reviewing consulting offices, which I did, and I'm hoping to get their feedback by the first week of or latest second week of April, so that we can meet the county deadline of April 29. April 29 is the deadline to submit everything. So
no, I guess
April 19. April 19 or 29?
19 or 17th. Yeah, it's one of those, 17th or 19th. Let me check here.
I should have the paper here.
Okay.
Nonetheless.
So Zeyad,
right, please. Yes.
Zeyad, I think a pre-consultation with council, it's always good to talk to council. I think Enam's right about that. If it's not going to hold up anything, we can go and talk to council, and we can say, look, we've got 23 lots here, 21 of them comply, 2 that we would need some variance on. And we can get we can get their feedback whether they would consider it or not.
Yeah. So in that case, I would require the revised concept plan.
Mhm.
If you can send me the revised concept plan showing relocating the houses 15 meters away from the property lot line and showing the 30-meter setback, the wetlands setback at the back, and 15 meters setback for other properties at the back.
So
That does
Jasmine,
not
yeah,
rear
yeah,
the wetland.
Jasmine, does this plan not show the 15 meters and the 30 meters, or what does it show? Jasmine, you're muted. You have to unmute yourself.
Sorry. We show a 15-meter setback from the wetlands and water courses, and we show, I believe it's 10 meters at the front. So that's, oh, sorry, no, we have the dashed line here. Yeah, so this is the 10-meter front yard setback, which is the setback from the proposed right-of-way that we have shown. We don't have the setbacks noted for rear and side or exterior side setbacks, so we would have to add those.
No, we have the 15 meters in the like from the wetlands.
Yes, we're showing 15 meters from the wetlands, yeah.
Yeah.
So you need to show 30 meters from the wetlands and 15 meters from front lot line, not 10 meters.
Yeah, but I just to make sure we are clear here, the 15 meters we are showing in it's from the wetland to the buffer, to the boundary of the buffer, not to the infrastructure. And the 30 meters you are talking about 30 meters from the wetland to the footprint of any infrastructure. Is that
so? No, you just show that 30 meters buffer, and anything that should be, I mean, the dwelling unit or the septic bed or the let's say in the future sheds, those have to be outside of that 30 meters. Okay, so that is the setback rear, the wetland setback that has to be shown. So you would have to show the 30-meter line.
30-meter line, and then from the 30-meter line to the infrastructure, is there a minimum?
No.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to clarify, because today we have a 15-meter as a buffer, as a line, okay, from the wetland to this line, and then we have space from this buffer line to the footprint.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. So if you increase that, then in some of the lots it may overlap.
Yeah, I get it.
So that in that case, those lots, the location of the house will have to be manipulated.
Of course, no
Yeah.
problem. Okay.
So Zeyad, those were good clarifications. And what I think if you look at the plan, there are many of these lots that are not affected by the wetlands at all.
Yeah.
There are some that are affected, and of those that are affected, respecting that 30 meters is going to be possible. There's no question about it.
So before I forget, sorry, go ahead.
Just let me finish. But there will be, I don't know how many, but at least 2 or 3. I remember talking to Rocky about this, and he totaled it up. But it was a relatively small number of lots where we would need counsel to say, yes, we'll give you some dispensation on that, or no, we won't. So let's do our let's show that 30 meters, let's show the 15 meters. That's your building envelope, basically. And then in some of these lots, as Enam said, there will be some overlap, and that's where we will need counsel to weigh in. Okay, so I think we know what we have to do.
Of course.
All right. So Enam, if there's a time where the Beckwith Township would allow us to come and show a few slides, it wouldn't take very long.
I will be making the presentation, and I will be preparing the report.
Okay.
Okay, so I will need the revised proposal.
Plan. Yeah.
You give me the revised proposal with the PDF drawing,
Yeah.
PDF and JPEG drawing, both. uh, of the draft plan, revised draft plan, and uh, what and I will be scheduling it. I will let you know when I can
Perfect.
schedule it.
That's great.
Well, probably if I get it within, let's say, this month, then in April 22, our April is planning committee meeting is on 22nd April. We can probably schedule it for 22nd April.
That would be fantastic. And I'm going to put it in my calendar, April 22nd. Now, we can come, obviously, to the meeting. And if there's any questions for us,
Sure.
if there's any questions for us, we would be allowed
Then
to answer them.
you are there to answer.
So the good news here is, other than doing a little bit more work on our drawings, Zeyad and Jasmine, Enam is doing all the work. So
Yeah,
that's good news.
exactly.
Yeah,
And
I love
meeting-
this. I mean, it means less work for us and more work for Enam. I'm all in favor of that. All in
Yeah,
favor,
just wanna
raise
make
your
sure.
hand. Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
yeah. Thank you.
So that's my duty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So
That's the way we do it, because we make the presentation. Okay. So planner makes the presentation, and based on whatever I receive from you, and then the council, if they have any question.
What time is the council meeting on the
So
22nd?
planning committee meetings are held, the council on that day. We have council meeting first and then planning committee meeting. This will go into the planning committee meeting.
At what time does it
Council
start?
meeting starts at 6. Planning committee meeting starts at 7.
All right.
7 p.m.
That's past my bedtime, you know.
So
Okay,
perhaps one day you have to stay overnight.
Oh, I think I'll be able to handle it. You know, Enam, during that huge blizzard that we had just before Family Day in February, my wife and I drove right through that blizzard to see our granddaughter in Toronto. This is the little girl we went to visit.
Okay.
And so we drove right through that blizzard. The 401 was down to one lane. There were whiteout conditions. There were all kinds of semi-trailers and trucks and cars blowing off the road. It was insane. Maximum speed was around 50 kilometers an hour. It was scary as hell. But there you go. So we did it anyway. So I think I can handle one night a meeting. So planning committee, Jasmine, if you don't mind putting in your schedule and Zeyad too. Planning.
Not yet.
No,
This
no,
is
just
confirmed.
tentative.
This is not confirmed. I will confirm
Again,
it.
planning committee, Beckwith Township, and I'll put a question mark there.
Yeah.
Beckwith, I'm just putting it in my
That's tentative.
Township.
Now, for Jasmine, I have a recommendation that if you can renumber the lots. So you start from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then go 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 6, 7, 8, 8, 9, then 10, and then you are jumping to the other side. Rather than jumping to the other side, continue on this side, 11, 12, 13, and go around and come to the last lot at this point.
So lot 11 will become lot 23?
Yeah, last lot.
Okay,
Yeah.
I
So
see.
then we have a sequence.
Sure.
I like this suggestion, Enam. You can hear me, Enam?
Yeah, sure.
You can hear me?
Yes,
Okay,
I can hear
perfect.
you.
So we will do this numbering. I will definitely make sure we'll make sure to discuss this. Okay. And then we will do all the required changes in the design, respecting the 30-meter setback to the envelope from the wetland. Probably in the meeting is going to be attending myself, Bruce, Jasmine, Dr. Espie as well, and we will have a representative from Pinchin, the environmental consultant.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah,
I haven't
exactly.
gone through the Pinchin report, because usually I don't go through the EIS report in detail. We have sent it for our for peer review. So we will wait for the peer review. I will have enough time for peer review, because I have asked them to give me by first week of April.
Perfect.
And they said that they will they can do it. So once I have that peer review, in the meantime, once I have some time, I will go through the Pinchin EIS report and see what their recommendation is.
But Enam, we will bring a Pinchin representative. Zeyad is right about that.
Awesome,
Because,
awesome.
I don't think you will need that. I will let you know.
all right, well, just Zeyad, keep that in your mind. All right.
I will let you know. I mean,
I understand.
if the matter is so serious, then probably I will let you know.
All right, let us know.
It's best that
let us know.
you don't want to get them,
So, Zeyad, I'm just going to put with Pinchin rep question mark. Okay.
Yeah, and the last thing I want to say in this planning committee, it's just to make sure it's only a pre-consultation for this plan of subdivision. It's nothing as official record or a decision-making meeting for this application. It's just a pre-consultation.
That's correct.
So well, you can consider that it is sort of official because whatever the recommendation or the if the committee says that no, you would have to comply with the 30-meter, let's say, for example, 30-meter setback, then you would have to comply.
That's fine, but there is no, like it's not official. Like if they say no, we need to wait for a specific time to resubmit another application or stuff like that. It's just like we're still in the same application.
Another application to the county?
Yeah.
County? You mean another application to the county? Do you mean
yeah.
No. County application is county application.
Perfect.
These are just revisions happening. These are just
exactly. I just wanted to confirm that with you because I've been through a lot before.
There will be multiple revisions. One more thing I need to talk is also we require trails as part of the recreation facility. Now you need to come up with the proposal that how you can have trails in here. For example, in Ridgemont, we do have a few blocks that are identified as trails. Okay. Now, in your proposal, you also need to come up with some trails. And let me tell you, in two of the subdivisions, which are something of a similar nature, we did not have any opportunity to have some trail. So instead, the township accepts a 1.7 meters width of paved pathway on both sides of the street.
I think, Jasmine, why don't you give that, Jasmine, can you hear me okay? Jasmine, why don't you give that some thought? I personally love the idea of trails. I have trails all over the subdivisions I've done for many decades now, and you would be surprised at how many people are walking their dogs or jogging or cross country skiing on those trails. We don't allow snowmobiles on most of them because you can't can't mix pedestrians and snowmobiles. You'll have a problem. But I love the idea of trails. And so, Jasmine, could you give some thought as to how you might, creatively introduce some trails here that would be not too intrusive on private property, but at the same time would allow people to enjoy nature?
Yeah, we'd have to take a look at probably with our civil engineers and our environmental consultants, just because we don't want to do anything within the wetland blocks that would their function, right?
Yeah.
Well, there are trails in the wetlands. Are you familiar with the Bill Mason Environmental Center, Enam?
Well, you can probably think about connecting, say, for example, if you go back to the concept plan.
Just give me 1 second. I want to show you what I have on file on the Bill Mason Environmental Center. It is really something pretty special, and it's right next to the West Carleton High School, and I own property near there. And I can tell you, Enam, that I super enjoy going to the Bill Mason Environmental Center. It is in a Class 1 provincially significant wetland. I'm just going to share my screen with you guys here. I just have a few pictures. So this is the Bill Mason Environmental Center. These are boardwalks that have been put in.
Yeah.
They're sensitive to nature. You know, myself and my kids, and now my grandkids, we're in that area all the time. You go through the wetland here. If you can look at my screen for a minute, Jasmine, these are beautiful trails. And eventually you come to, believe it or not, Enam, this is right in the middle of the wetland. You come to this outdoor classroom. And during COVID, we were using this outdoor classroom a lot. You know, I do some teaching still, and I was doing, during COVID, I was doing outdoor meetings at the Bill Mason Center using this facility. So they have very extensive trails, Jasmine, through the wetlands, and then they have this fantastic classroom. You can just go there and, you know, and with a group of students, and you can teach.
Yeah, exactly, Bruce, and I like it. And also, we have opportunity in the stormwater management ponds blocks.
That's
They
what I
are
was
already
thinking too.
oversized, right? So we have in the pond blocks connecting them to a very, you know, tiny space from the wetland. Like, depends on the environmental constraints.
Yeah.
How we can do this connection, it was a great opportunity, and it's also something that we can put in the table. You know, we are benefiting, like as you mentioned, Enam, you didn't get the opportunity to implement those trails in many subdivisions in Beckwith. We are implementing that in this subdivision, so we are trying to get this on the table, so we also can get some sort of compromise for some few lots if we don't meet the 30 meters. You know, we always try to do it like that. Like we accommodate requirements, and the township or the municipality also accommodates requirements. At the end, we end with something beautiful for everyone.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, what I was thinking, maybe from between now numbered lot 6 and lot 6 and 7, in between, if a trail goes to the back and then goes along the, if you go back to the, I can show on the.
Yeah, I'm going back there now.
So, you know, a trail connection here, and then trail, if it is possible, to go like that around and come out somewhere here, or come out somewhere here. Okay. So then it becomes a trail, and then we can propose it to, the trail goes to a separate committee here, not the committee, trail proposal. So we can,
Enam, we cannot see your finger moving or your cursor moving on this.
Okay.
So here's my cursor. You tell me where to go.
So between lot 6 and 7.
Where's lot 6? Over here?
Just on the right side of the first lot on the right side at the entrance.
South. So
yeah.
Okay, this is lot 6.
So that's 6.
Okay, so tell me what you're thinking.
So between lot 6 and 7. So this is lot 6 and that's lot. So that boundary line between the two lots.
Okay.
Yeah, and then along the wetland, coming out on along lot 22 either side.
So where's lot 22? Down here somewhere?
Yeah, the other block that you have on the
next
left
to the stormwater management.
Oh, that'd be beautiful. Something else too, Enam, that just occurred to me. So if I understand it right, you'd come in here like this, you'd go around the wetland sort of like this, and you'd come out here. But there's something else I think you should know, that there is an existing trail here that is very walkable. I think Kavanaugh owns the land immediately adjacent down here, if you can see my cursor moving around.
Is there? No, it's not. That trail would be. No, let me see.
Trust me, that is a very. They have a gravel trail. I don't know what they spent on that, but if you walk that trail, it is fantastic. So, I mean, in theory, Jasmine, we could have a trail that does this all the way around the wetlands, comes down to the this
Yeah,
block
and then
here.
connects to, if there is a trail, then you can connect it to that trail.
I've walked it, and you can connect it back here, so it would actually go in a circle. So I think that is a fantastic idea.
In our trails network, it does not show.
I can tell you, guarantee it's there, and I'll bet you Kavanaugh spent $750,000 building that thing.
I don't.
It is fantastic.
The trail is along Kavanaugh Road.
Well, there is. I know for sure. This is Douglas Landing down here, and it extends this way, and it is an absolutely fine trail. All right, enough of that.
So, yeah,
Okay,
one more
I think
thing.
it's great. I think that's a great idea.
So one more thing, you asked me, Bruce, you were asking me about the sheds and other structures. So
Yeah.
the lot coverage is 15%. So within that 15%, you have the primary house, you have the attached additional residential house, and then beyond that, if someone wants to build a detached garage, they can build it. Someone wants to build a shed, detached shed, they can build it. There is no restriction. As long as they are within, as long as within the 15 meters.
So Enam, did you say 15%?
15%.
1.5.
Residential, 1.5.
1.5. All right. So for a 1 acre site, Zeyad, 15% is about 6,500 square feet. So if you had, say,
I will calculate it for you.
No, I've got it. If you had a 2,000 square foot house and you had, say, a 400 square foot in-home suite, so that'd be 2,400. You could have a really big detached garage or shed. I mean, it would be big.
Of course.
5, 6,
Of course.
times 1.
Subject to respecting the setbacks from the septic and well.
Yes.
Yeah. We're respecting all of that.
Setbacks. So for a 1 acre, you get 6,500 square feet. 6,500 to 34 square feet to be exact. So that is large enough to have
plenty of room.
All of it with maybe 5, 6 shed. Sometimes I tell people that you can build a mansion in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's too funny. But you could have a 4,000 square foot shed.
Yeah.
That's plenty big. And if somebody wants more than that, they should go to an industrial park. All right. Okay. I think this has been very, very helpful. Enam, thank you so much for spending an hour and 10 minutes with us.
I may have something else.
Oh, you get something else for us.
I'm just checking my notes.
You have a question about process as well, if we've got some time.
Okay.
Sorry?
I just have a question about how the approvals for the subdivision and the approvals for the rezoning will work, just so that I can get a better idea of what we can expect. So I understand that we're going to go to planning committee and have a report recommendation from them through a presentation from you, through a recommendation from you as well, Enam. But for the draft plan, yes.
Yeah.
But for the final approvals, I understand that the final approval for the draft plan will come from the county. But who is the final approval body for the rezoning?
Township.
Okay. And does that require a separate pre-consult meeting or informal?
Yeah, that will require a pre-consultation. The zoning change, it will be zoning will be required to be changed from rural to rural residential. So there is a pre-consultation, and after the pre-consultation also happens with the at the planning committee.
Okay.
And then right after the pre-consultation, you put up a formal application. And then on the next month's, let me beforehand tell you the way our committee meetings are held. Planning committee meetings are held on third Tuesday of each month. Council meetings are held on first Tuesday of each month. So from the third Tuesday of the month, the planning committee meeting recommendations go to the next month's first Tuesday's council for approval. So
I see.
planning committee recommends, council approves. Okay. Only in case this month, next month, April, it's the council has decided to change it to second and fourth Tuesday. But otherwise, our normal is first and third Tuesday. Like, for example, this month we are having it on the 18th next week. So which is the third Tuesday of March. So this is how it is done. So it will go to the planning committee for pre-consultation. Then immediately you apply. Then I need a 20 days, as you know, the 20-day notice period. So I need the application immediately forwarding that pre-consultation. And then I can schedule it for next month's planning committee, third Tuesday. And from there, it goes to the next the month after council for approval. Council approves it. Then in this case, it will be on hold. There will be a holding symbol on it because the county did not yet approve it. So once you have the agreement signed and the final approval is received, then we will reinstate the zoning.
I see. So the zoning is approved with the holding symbol through council until the draft plan is approved?
Yeah, until the draft plan is approved.
And then is it on the applicant to remove the holding zone, or is that the township?
Yeah, you will I'll have to check whether I initiated it or the request. You make the request, then everything is done through me. So you make the request that now since the draft plan is approved, then please we are requesting to lift the holding symbol.
Okay.
It's a formal process, so nothing gets held up due to this.
Okay.
So
this is great,
and the zoning will be changed to rural residential.
Rural, exactly. And thank you for this, because this will save us time. We can submit the zoning at some point once we agree.
Oh, you will have enough time from even after draft plan approval until all the studies are completed, and then you get the subdivision agreement and agreement being signed. So there will be a subdivision agreement that we will draw up, and then we will go back and forth for reviewing it. And once that agreement is signed, then we submit that agreement to the county for final approval of the development and to register the subdivision. So until the registration of the subdivision, there will be enough time. And this can be done anytime.
I understand. But we can start servicing the land, building the road before the registration of the subdivision agreement, as long as we have the draft plan approval in place and we have the detailed and the detailed engineering approved.
You can do all those works. What you cannot do is sell the lots.
Or closing the lot.
You cannot do is you cannot do any sale because you don't have the lots yet.
Yeah, we take deposits after the draft plan approval issued. This is what we do. We go for launching for the sales. We take deposit, but we can't close to the new buyer until we have
you register it, and all the PIN numbers all the PIN numbers are assigned by land registry, and the roll numbers are assigned by MPAC. So those processes take time. I just submitted for one subdivision the final agreement. 1 month, more than a month back, but county has not finished the file yet. So it has not gone to the land registry yet. So it goes to the land registry, then, still another 2-3 months until they are able to sell the lots.
Of course, this is understood. And that's why many builders, they delay the delivery date for the closing days for the buyers because of that. And that's why, that's why we know, like, for me, the registration, I'm I'm lucky because I was able to register many subdivisions in Ottawa in 3-4 months.
Wow.
You know, and
In
yeah,
Ottawa.
really, Ottawa.
Okay. Okay.
Really?
Good.
So
Good.
it's going to be a pleasure working with you on that, and Jasmine for sure, and Bruce, you
Yeah.
know, getting everything together, be
Yeah.
organized, and
So-
kick it that way.
So in that case, in the planning rationale, page 15, that you have the proposed zoning, rezoning, RR10, RR11, those are not
Yeah.
valid anymore.
We'll need to rework that.
Yeah. So I
No
mean,
problem.
those 3 lots and 4 lots are not valid anymore. So you don't have to, for the attached additional residential unit, it does not need to be addressed within it. It comes as by default. So you don't really need to address it within. So when you are proposing the lots, I mean, when proposing the lots to the prospective buyers, you can tell them this is our main house and this is the proposed addition that you can do. You can keep this design. You don't want to do it now, you can do it in the future. Use this design and do the process. Some of them may like it, some of them may want it right away, some of them may say, no, I don't want the primary secondary additional unit now.
Yeah.
Because we are single family. So they will go with it, and in the future, if they need, then they have the plan, so they can come back. So that does not need to be referred to in it. I mean, it's more or less standard.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's
perfect.
all I think I have for now. If I come up with something more later on, I will get back to you.
Will we be getting your comments as with the collection of the other comments in writing?
So what will happen is that you know, you will get it to the county. So I will send it to the county.
Okay,
And county will forward it to you.
perfect.
Because that's what the county planning manager wants the process to be. Previously, we used to communicate directly, you know, with the previous planning department people in the county. We used to communicate directly with all the peer reviews back and forth, you know. But since he wants it that way, we'll see how it goes. It's not set in stone. That's what he prefers. Mike Dwyer, the planning manager. That's what he prefers. So we'll go by that. If we see that there is a time delay happening, then I can always talk to him saying that, you know, there are delays happening and this is impacting the development. So why not we communicate directly, you know? And if he says, okay, go ahead, then, you know, we'll go ahead. You know? So, but for now, once it comes to me, I will forward them to what I am sensing is that I will forward it to the county. County, of course, will need some days to forward it to you, and then you forward that to your to Pinchin or whoever. All of them are Pinchin. So to Pinchin, and then the same route it has to follow.
Yeah, exactly. And thank you. And
So,
you know,
so
we will
that way there may be delays happening on the road, you know.
We're gonna make sure we're gonna try our best to, you know, push the process and make everyone work in the line. And
should you see that there is a delay happening, please let me know.
We'll
so
reach out to you. You
I
can be
can
sure about
communicate with the county.
Enam, off you go. I'm going to speak to Zeyad and Jasmine just for another minute, but I want to thank you for the time you spent.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Look forward to hearing from you with the revision.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See ya.
Nice seeing you. Bye.
So Zeyad, on the question of when you can sell lots, he's quite right. You can't convey a lot that hasn't been created, obviously. He's right about that. But you know, I've been doing this for 30 years. If somebody says, look, I'd like to reserve something, it hasn't been fully approved yet. They know that. They put down a minimal amount of money to reserve a lot. We did that with Bob Waska. We did that with Susan Anglin. This is fairly, you know, I mean, people understand. It's just, look, if this thing doesn't happen, you get your $1,500 back or $500 back. But you know, it just gives whether it's Dr. Espie or Miss Anglin or Bob Wachter, it gives them a little bit of comfort. You know, you got 30 lots. Like for Bob, we had 30 lots for sale. We had, I think, 20 something reservations. You know, and and you saw some of the numbers. You know, I thought we would get $250,000 for the waterfront. Then we were getting 300,000, and the most recent one is now over 400,000. And Enam asked a great question: Is that just for the lot? You know, and there you go. So, but we don't want to worry about that now. I get that. Zeyad, you did a really nice job handling him. You know, he's a good guy. He is a good person.
Yes.
And his heart's in the right place. It's a much simpler process to get this approved than it would be in the city of Ottawa. You know,
I don't see any problem down the road. We will be able to convince that after we do our revisions. I will work closely with Jasmine and CC Tatham and Pinchin just to revise this plan and the setbacks and everything. We'll have it ready in a matter of 10 days. That's my target, so that I can flip it to him. He can be comfortable, have enough time before the 22.
and
I will summarize all what we discussed today in an email and send it to him as, you know, a summary. And yeah.
And you can see that he is a bit of a frustrated architect. I mean, his idea of those trails and everything else. Jasmine, did you understand what I meant? There is an incredible trail. I'm sure Kavanaugh spent nearly $1 million. You know, we're talking 8 feet of gravel. You know, everything from B stone to A, and it's just a fantastic. So I think we can make. Hang on, we can make a circular trail that will be really fantastic and useful.
But just to mention, we want to make sure those trail it's inside the 30 meters setback.
100%.
Okay, it's our right to have this inside so we can minimize the impact on home.
Well, it would be in the wetland area, wouldn't it? It wouldn't even be on any of the subject lots.
I think it would be. I think it would be. It could be in the 15 meters. It could be in the wetlands. I don't know where you want to show it, but either one would be fine. I showed you what the Bill Mason Environmental Center has done. Those trails, Jasmine, go right through the heart of the wetland. They're beautiful trails. If you ever want to take your kids somewhere and show them beautiful nature, mind you, it's better to go in August than it is in June because the bugs will pick you up and eat you in June. But by the time you get to August, the trails are fully developed. The nature is incredible, and they go right through the heart of the wetlands. You know, but they're done carefully and sensitively. But
Exactly.
you know, so I wanted to show them that because there you go. I mean, it's probably the most well-respected environmental center we have in Ottawa. It's not huge, but it's beautiful.
Well, so, and unless you wanted on the subject properties along the wetland to have an easement running across the entire frontage of the wetland, then the trails would have to be within the wetland block.
I think so. I do think so. And as I said, we have the Bill Mason Environmental Center. You know, now what I'm going to do, we're still recording this. I'm going to put it on YouTube. I took good notes, Zeyad and Jasmine. I took good notes. I'll put the notes. You know, so what I do, Jasmine, is as you know, and Zeyad knows this, I put this on YouTube unlisted, but it will have in the description. We'll have you know, extensive notes. I'll send it to obviously you two guys, and I'll send it to Dr. Espie too.
Lovely, thank you.
That's great.
And listen, it looks like she's bombed out for you and me. If you have a couple other suggestions for Facebook Marketplace, I could sure use them.
Of course, I will do that. I will send it to you today, you and Michael, the other two marketers. Okay? Perfect.
All right, see you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.